actually agree with that selection. If I was a coach in our league that could vote for anybody, I would vote for Baylor. I voted for Baylor, obviously because you can't vote for your own team, but just being totally objective, they return the best team on paper. And we lost two, obviously consensus second team All-Americans, and that doesn't bother me at all. I think they got they're deserving of that. Of course, as we all know, preseason stuff really doesn't mean much, but I guess I was happy that the coaches thought enough of our team to pick a second. But it's going to be a great league race. It'll be wide open. There'll be ebbs and flows. There always are. But I actually agree with that prediction.
Hey, Coach, any kind of scheduling update? I know that there's been some rumors of some new games, but anything official yet?
Well, there's that, and they'll probably stay rumors, but I will tell you this: Mark Few and I are committed to playing each other, so hopefully that'll all come to be. I know they're in the negotiating stages and trying to finalize some things, but we anticipate having a game with Gonzaga to open the season, but it hasn't been finalized yet. But certainly we believe that to be the case. And we'll be playing two games in this event when it is finalized, and then we believe that the Champions Classic at this point in time is under the same type of talks that hopefully can be finalized soon. But I don't think anything is etched in stone yet, even though we believe that these things are still great possibilities to occur.
Did you talk to Mark Few? Have you guys talked about this?
Yeah, we talked a lot about it. Matter of fact, the day that I called him, he told me he was getting ready to call me. I guess since we both have the exact same birthday, our minds must think alike a little bit. But he's struggling. We were struggling with the Orlando situation, and so it just seemed natural for us to try to do something that would benefit both programs in a big way and be good for college basketball. So I don't think anybody would argue that it's a good game to certainly start a season. And there'll be other good games to start the season, don't get me wrong, but certainly that will definitely be one of the most watched and carry as much interest probably as just about any of them.
Hey, assuming that one sticks, what do you make of the reboot of this schedule? I mean, there's a good mix of some pretty tough games and then some home games. And I mean, are you pretty pleased with it?
Yeah, we have to be. The thing about it is our schedule pre-COVID, and you guys would probably agree, would probably be as hard as any schedule we put together non-conference. And then you throw in maybe as good our league has been in a long time, and it's been really good. I mean, it'd be a monster schedule. I think last year, didn't we have the number one overall strength of schedule last year? And this year's would have obviously rivaled that as well. But, with the COVID deal and going from 13 non-conference to 9, and then also there's the threat all the time of being quarantined for 14 days. So we have adjusted our schedule. We think that best fits us. So, if your non-conference games are, and I say if, Gonzaga, Kentucky, Creighton, Tennessee, 4 out of 9. So that's 44% of your non-conference games are going to be against preseason top 12 probably teams in America. And that's before you play your league. I still think that will put our schedule up there with one of the best. And some of the other games, without question, even though they may not be, top preseason 25 teams, some of the other games will be very difficult games too that will help prepare us for the league play.
Last one on the schedule. Can you talk about that Tarleton State game with Billy?
Well, that he was struggling too. I mean, he was struggling. Matter of fact, I think he was scheduled to play Gonzaga maybe on the next day, and that's that thing fell through for reasons, and may have got pushed off a year, just like we had to do with some games. So, yeah, I'm excited to get Billy up here. His game counts as a Division I game, and they'll be much better than what maybe what some people project just because of the intensity and how hard they'll play. But that'll be a good game for us. North Dakota State's a terrific game for us. They obviously if they didn't win the league last year, they were right there to win the league. I thought they won it though, if I'm not mistaken. And we still have one more game to schedule. And the question is, do we try to schedule one and squeeze it in where it may not fit perfectly? Or are we better off in a year like this, maybe just to play 26 games? We don't know. We're still trying to figure out if there's a perfect scenario out there for us.
Hey, Bill, I wanted to ask a little off topic. The election's on Tuesday. For the players on the team who are registered, who are, I guess, planning to vote, is there any team initiative to go to the polls together or anything like that you guys have set up?
You know what? I don't know this for a fact. I know I voted this past week on our off day, and I think 4 or 5 players voted there. I saw 3 of them at the polls when I was there. So I think everybody has their absentee ballots. Everybody's sent them in. I think there may be 1 or 2 that hasn't voted yet, and we're trying to get everybody to vote before Tuesday. But we anticipate having 100% participation with everybody in a program that can vote, will vote.
And then will you guys do something as a team on Election Day?
No, we'll do nothing as a team on Election Day. That's something that has been mandated and certainly a good idea by the Big 12, that no one will practice on Election Day. I guess we could have some type of team activity, but we won't do anything basketball related on Election Day. That will be a day off.
Yeah, no, sorry, my bad. I meant specifically for the election. Like, will you guys get together or anything like that?
Like have a watch party?
Yeah, something like that.
We might. I tell you what we'll do. We'll start it at 8 a.m. and run it through midnight. So because that's, we may do something, but with the COVID situation, you can't bring food in. You can't have everybody sit around and watch the election and eat. You got to have social distancing in everything you do. So we may do something to create something from an educational standpoint, and talking and watching maybe the different news outlets and how to follow it and what this all means from a strategic standpoint, I guess, as the night goes on. But right now, I don't have anything planned.
Hey, this is the first time we've talked to you since that late night scrimmage, and I know that was a while ago, but can you just talk a little bit about Tristan in that game? I mean, he looked aggressive, and what have you seen from him so far?
He's had a good camp. Tristan, Jalen, and CB, kind of, because they're all kind of similar sizes right there, have all had terrific camps. CB's probably had the best one of the 3, but I mean, they've all gotten better. Tristan's stroke looks better. He's more confident. I'm more confident in it. I think he made 2 in the scrimmage, if I'm not mistaken, and then maybe got an and 1 opportunity right there in a span of 2 or 3 minutes, which it's not real ball, but it was still good to see the ball go in the hole. But yeah, he's poised to have a big year. The thing about Tristan, and I'm not talking behind anybody's back because we've openly talked about this, and he agrees. He's a very smooth player, and sometimes smooth leads to casual, and he just can't be quite as casual. So and he's working hard on that. I mean, I anticipate him being definitely a rotation guy, and has a chance. He'll have a chance to start. I don't know if that'll take place, but I would anticipate at some point in time this year him definitely being a starter for us, because I think that we've got enough players that are comparable. Our starting lineups could, possibly switch game to game, where it hasn't been that way much in the past.
You have seen progress though in that I guess being less casual from him compared to
no question. But there's still another step or 2 or 3 that he can take on it. But I think he's had a tremendous fall. And I think Jalen has as well, and CB has. I mean, we scrimmaged yesterday for the first time, a real scrimmage, and there were obviously some bad things that occurred, and certainly no attention to detail and don't guard anybody and all those things. But you did see some positive things from some individuals, and those guys all had their moments.
Hey, Coach, I know the early signing period is less than 2 weeks away. You guys have 2 on board. Would you like to add more, or are you just going to roll with the 2 you have and see what happens in the spring?
You know what? I don't know, Shay. If we could get the right 1 or 2, sure, we would do that. We on paper have, going into it, we on paper had 3 scholarships because we had 3 seniors. Well, now on paper, that's not the case because seniors can come back. So, and I'm not saying I anticipate Mitch or Marcus, either one, coming back, but certainly if they are granted that opportunity, so, that could kind of change some philosophies on recruiting, and then you're going to have transfers more than likely that'll be eligible immediately. So, if we could get a terrific big or a terrific guard, then sure we would jump all over that. But right now, I'm not sure. And maybe the percentage and best play is to hold and kind of see how things play out. Second semester. We've got so many unknowns going on right now with our program that's been very well documented that it's kind of hard to really sell exactly what a situation would be when we don't know how to sell that, because we don't know, nor does anybody know. So it's been a challenge, but I'm really happy with what's transpired so far.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Hi, Karen.
Hi. How is the recruiting? I mean, are you becoming an expert on recruiting through Zoom? I mean, are you having to kind of put your best foot forward in front of the camera? How do you do this?
Well, I actually probably not very well, to answer your question, but I kind of like it. I like the fact that you can get in front of families and face to face and have it be more than a phone call. I don't miss recruiting at all, but I miss the opportunity for families and kids to come to our campus. But as far as going out and stuff, I don't miss that at all. I miss evaluating in certain situations that we aren't allowed to now, but there is tape and things like that you can do to evaluate. And most of the kids that we would be offering a scholarship to and trying to land here, we've watched enough of them to kind of see them and know how we think they would fit with us. So I don't think recruiting by Zoom or by telephone call only. I mean, our social media people have done an unbelievable job in getting stuff out to recruits and families, and they've been very impressed with that. And so we've been able to sell ourselves in better than we've ever sold ourselves in the past through those avenues. And I think the Zoom has been positive for us for the most part. It does lack the personal touch, but to me, I still think we'll get the same kids we would have gotten if we could be out. And I think the majority of the other colleges would probably feel the same way. Regardless of what the rules are, I think we're still going to probably end up where we should end up. And that didn't always work that way, but in general, over time, I think it would play out that way.
On another topic, you may have heard that Kansas City is making a bid to the Toronto Raptors to be a host city should the immigration rules stick and they can't travel back and forth from Canada. You look at Kansas City when you come to the Big 12 as a second home. You think that's a good move to have the NBA just 45 minutes away if Kansas City can pull off being a host city? What would you say to the Raptors about the city?
Well, I would say that, this place is obviously a hotbed for basketball. This place obviously loves their ball, and you go back historically to all the NCAA tournaments and the NCAA being here that was held in Municipal Auditorium and those sorts of things. I think that would be a big sell because we've shown that we love ball historically. And then obviously with the T-Mobile /Sprint, I know it's T-Mobile, but I'll sometimes forget. There's probably other NBA arenas out there that are its equal or maybe a little bit more advanced. There's not many. It's terrific. And then the location in the downtown area, I think it would be an unbelievable move if the Raptors have to go somewhere to seriously consider Kansas City. I saw firsthand, and we all did, what happened with the Hornets. I believe it was the Hornets then and not yet the Pelicans when Katrina hit New Orleans and they relocated to Oklahoma City, and you saw how that market rallied around that team to make them basically an automatic to get a franchise if anything else was going to transpire. And then, of course, the Sonics moved there. I can see Kansas City doing the same thing. I think people would rally around it. From a college perspective in K-State and Kansas, I'm not sure it'd help with attendance. I think that the entertainment dollar stretches so far. Who knows what the economy will be like? Some things like that. But when you're looking at what's best for us as a whole, there's no question. I think having an NBA team play here, even if it's only temporary, to put us in a position to show what we can do, to give us to posture ourselves more favorably to attract a team permanently, I think it's a must. We got to go for the throat on that, and I would think that Chiefs players like playing here, Royals players like playing here. From everything I hear, there'd be no reason why NBA players wouldn't like Kansas City. I don't believe.
Thanks, Coach. That's great.
Bill, how is Latrell and any other injury updates?
We had everybody practice yesterday, but Latrell, and he's not day to day. I still think he's time away, and we hope that time is a week. He's got a nagging ankle situation that we're a little bit nervous about. Not nervous that it's going to cost him a season or anything like that, but nervous about bringing him back a little too quick. So we'll err on the side of precaution there, but I'm hoping within the week though, Gary.
Billy Tubbs, I guess, unfortunately, is ailing badly. Have you heard about that? And what are your best wishes or opinions of Billy?
I had John Rohde called me yesterday and told me, and I text Tommy Tubbs right after that, and we corresponded a little bit. But I don't know everything that's going on with it, but obviously, I'll say this: there's and being from Oklahoma, there's three men that brought basketball to Oklahoma. Mr. Iba did back in the earlier years, but from a popularity standpoint, Wayman Tisdale, Nolan Richardson, and obviously Billy Tubbs. They did more for basketball in our state in the modern generation than anybody has, and he was one of those guys that you loved or you love to dislike. And I know Kansas fans have had their moments where they certainly disliked. What did he do? Have his team cut down nets here after winning the Big 8 one time, and he had players at Colorado wear the foam finger to make sure that the people knew they were saying number one instead of maybe something else. I know at when UNLV introduced their starters, they did the fireworks so he got everybody sparklers when he took his TCU team to play there, and they ran through the sparklers, during pregame introductions. And I could go on and on about so many things he did that created controversy and interest at the same time. Who would ever forget what he did with Missouri and Norm Stewart, and when he got on the microphone and said, "Hey, nobody throw anything else on the floor, no matter how bad the officiating is." I mean, he did stuff like that all the time. You just can't help but like him, and so wish him nothing but the best. He and his family, and Pat and Tommy and their group, but that's a man that created a lot of memories for a lot of people, and that's just off the top of my head. I could list 10 more probably just if I had 30 seconds to think about it.
Take two more questions for Coach, please.
Oh, we haven't had a chance to talk to you. Do you have any further reaction about Silvio, and is he have a chance to ever come back to the team?
No, well, guys, you guys read the release. Silvio opted out and said leave the program. So let's not read into it any more than what was actually stated. I love the kid. I know what's been reported, and to my understanding, it's been accurately reported. I still don't know all the details about it. I'm certainly not passing judgment or issuing judgment because I don't know details, and I know there's a process that has to play out. But you guys read it, and I think I stated it eloquently would not be a correct term that I'd ever use when I make a statement, but I think I stated it accurately on where we're at, and there's really nothing else to say about it.
Hey, Coach, on DeJuan Harris, do you have a feel for where he'll fit in, or kind of what you'd like to see from him this year, maybe what his role will be?
I didn't catch who you were talking about.
DeJuan Harris.
Oh, DeJuan. Yeah, I'd like for I don't want to ever say that somebody can't be a starter, but the reality of it is, I'd love for him to be our backup point. He's going to go through some things. He's light. I mean, he's light. He, weighs $160 probably. And so physically, he's got to be very, very tough and be a pit bull type player to play when you're that light, especially against 21 and 22-year-old men when you're young. And so he's got it in him to be a good player. There is no question about that. He's got tremendous vision. He's got great hands. But there's been some things that's happened during practice, I think, that has exposed his size a little bit, and he's got to find a way to compensate for not being very big. And I think he's got it in him to do that. And that's one thing he's got to become. He's got to become a pest in that. And I think he'll do that. But you'll like his game. He's got feel. He's got some game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks everybody for your time.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Surprised you showed up since there wasn't